Hi, Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Well, decided to come back on video here because there are some things that I think we need to talk about. And it really kicks off, and what a great time to start doing video again than under a new moon. Here we are on July 17th. And the reasons that I'm thinking this is I just am seeing some potholes in this chart that between now and especially next Saturday, Venus going retrograde, and then we move into the fall in October where we have some eclipses that are on some very significant real estate. But let's take a look at why you may be feeling the way you've been feeling over this past week is because of this yod. We've talked about this extensively on the audio podcast, which is on all the major podcast players, Fun Astrology. But Neptune is at one side of the base of this yod, and it's connected by a sextile aspect. That's a 60-degree aspect to none other than transformational Pluto, which is dancing right here at the cusp of Aquarius, Capricorn. It's already back into Capricorn. It goes back to 27 degrees before it turns forward by the end of its retrograde motion. So there's that at the base. Then that basically moves up these green lines you can see in the chart right there and right there to the pinnacle planets, which are Venus and Mars. Now, Mars has moved into Virgo. Mars was there in Leo when this yod started, but it now has moved over. But they still are only 4 degrees apart. So at the top of this witch's hat yod, which is 2 planets at the base connected by a sextile, moving up through this tension aspect of a quincunx to the focal point. Well, what's the focal point of Mars as you think about it? What comes to mind? Power, aggression, war? And when we did this podcast that I'm referring you back to on July 6th, Thursday, July 6th ago, they had not met at NATO yet. But they go over there and all these world leaders, you could hear it, the drums of war are starting to pound. And then when they come back, the President of the United States sends 3,000 troops armed and ready to go to Europe. Now when I see that and this, I go, okay, we need to talk. We need to be ready is what the deal is. We need to be ready. Because the other big thing today is that the nodes of the moon, which are represented here, this little horseshoe shape here and here, are changing signs. So that means they're more powerful than ever. Pluto, sitting right here at the cusp of Aquarius, Capricorn, is more powerful than ever. Last couple of weeks, you had Mercury was back over here at the 0 point of Leo, very strong and powerful. Mars, very strong and powerful at the cusp of Virgo. So you have all of this incredible energy that's just like a cauldron boiling. And that's why I thought, okay, we need to talk, because not only between now and next Saturday, but even beyond that, as we look into the fall, October, we have the eclipses, that there's a lot of stuff going on in here that we need to be ready for and we need to be prepared. Audio is great. Video is pictures worth 1,000 words. So that's why we're doing this. But the nodes of the moon, about every 18 months, year and a half or so, they change signs. And we're talking about now moving from North Node in Taurus, will be moving into Aries. They travel backwards, so the track will be this way. The South Node is going to be leaving Scorpio and moving into Libra. Now, we covered this on the podcast last week as well. The 6th of July, I believe, was the date on that. So you can go back on the audio version, or it's also on YouTube, and you can listen to the details of that. But every single conflict that the United States has been involved in, except for one, going back 100 years, happened under this coming aspect. And it's all taking place under the new moon right here in Cancer, which represents new beginnings. And Cancer is all about nurturing, and it's about the home, and it's about mother, and it's ruled by the moon. And right now, this new moon is in conflict because of all this stuff that we've been talking about. What's up for the week ahead? Well, on Thursday, we'll talk about the sun opposite Pluto, and then we'll also talk about Mars opposite Saturn. So there is a lot coming up just between now and next Saturday when Venus up here in Leo goes retrograde. And remember, Venus is all about love and harmony and balance. And Leo is all about self-expression, putting yourself out there, being being grandiose, and Libra is like being a Venus and Libra. One of the characteristics is about being balanced. It's about being it's about being homey, if you will. It's about loving. So there's a contrast with that, even as Venus starts to go retrograde. So this is why I thought we need to get back and start looking at this together. I'll be back on a mostly daily basis on video, daily every day on the audio podcast. You can catch it everywhere you get your podcasts, or just come to funastrology.com. See you tomorrow.